How do my fiance and I save our relationship after we took in my 2 teenage brothers? My fiance, M26, and I, F22. I got engaged on my birthday, May 22, 2021. We have been together for 5 years now, 4 at the time of the engagement, and he is my best friend. We both had a hard childhood, and really made a good life together. For the first 4 years we would argue sometimes. Very rarely yell, but we never screamed or called each other names. Now fast forward to June 10, 2021. Mom was in an accident. She did not survive, so in one phone call, I lost my mom and also was informed I either need to come get my brothers, 14 and 16, or they would end up in a foster home. We didn't really have a choice. My fiance is amazing and he never even questioned us go through with getting full custody of them. Here's where the problems first started. When I brought my brothers, I also brought mom's dogs. Her pit had been in our family for 8 years, and in all the years I knew her she was never violent. We left the store and when we came home our cat was torn to bits. Our cat was our freaking world. We don't have kids of our own, and at the time our cat was our son. He has an entire wardrobe of clothes and he went everywhere with us. This in itself has caused so much animosity between us. Beckowie, it was my fault. I didn't need to bring the dogs and I did anyways. I also was the one who made it clear the putta was non-violent. This event is where we first started having issue. From there, we've had to deal with moving to bigger home, which comes with more bills and longer work days, and raising 2 teenagers who were already traumatized before the passing of our mom. As I said before, we don't have kids. We don't know what we are doing. So that's constantly a fight. And I've been very emotionally distracted by my mom's passing, especially because she was in a DV situation that was the cause of her accident. She is all I can think of. My fiance and I also have not gone on a date in like 6 months. And we had to spend the money we had saved for our wedding, which was originally planned for this September, but we had to cancel it because we spent the money he had saved for it when we moved. All of these things have caused so many issues between us. Our arguments have turned to full-on screaming fights. I just need advice on how we can make things work between us again. All we wanted to do was do the right thing. But it's destroying us. What can I do differently? How do I juggle grieving my mom, raising my brothers, keep my finances and I relationship healthy, and still feel like I'm only 22? Edit. Also in comments. Both of my brothers are in intensive therapy, which is 4 hours a week between the both of them. We have also been on a wait list for about 5 months for a caseworker to help us with different financial options. The only reason my fiance and I have not started therapy is Beckowie. We work Monday to Friday, 12.5-hour days. And we don't really have the extra money for us to get therapy as well. Edit 2. Thank you all for your comments. Mostly help. Just wanted to add. 1. I did give my fiance a way out. When this happened, I told him he doesn't need all this, and if he didn't want to stay I wouldn't hold it against him. I've told him many times since I would understand if he left. He always tells me we are in this together. He is an amazing man. We just are struggling more and more with seeing eye to eye on things and staying connected. We are continually drifting from each other. I see this destroying both of us, and it's not fair to him, and it's terrifying to watch too. My mom's pit was not unfamiliar to any of us. The pit was in an unfamiliar place. My mom got the pit. Her name is Rainbow. At 8 weeks old, and she was in our family for 8 years. Our cat went everywhere with us. So he had stayed at my mom's with the pit on numerous occasions and we never had an issue. I brought them down. The other one was a Chihuahua and she had no blood on her, so she wasn't involved. Because my brothers just lost our mom and didn't want to be the one to take their dogs too. I don't know why she did, but I do know it was out of character. And we did not keep the pit. We found someone my brothers knew and they took her. Point 3. No, we don't have any family. My mom grew up in foster care. She was also with an extremely abusive person for the last 10 years who didn't allow her to have any support or friends. Edit. Point 3. The pit had been non-violent for 8 years. My mom got her when I was 14. She was not unfamiliar. She also grew up with other small dogs, cats and ferrets, and was never violent. We had stayed with our cat, with my mom who had the dog numerous times before everything happened. Our cat and my mom's dogs knew each other and we never saw anything that would have made me believe she would do something like this. I know it was a stupid decision. And I know I am to blame. I have never or will ever disagree with the fact it was my fault our cat died. Working 12.5-hour days isn't sustainable. Go back to smaller housing. 2 bedrooms is fine and the boys can bunk. Ask the school counselor for help. Ask older moms in your neighborhood to help. Try to get the kids to sleep at a friend's or relative's every Friday night. And put the kids in a free weekend activity to get them out of the house. Stop yelling and name calling. Today. Get rid of the dog. Have you reached out for financial assistance? There should be social security benefits for the boys since they were minors when your mother died. Getting some additional cash flow will help with some of the tension and changes you've had to go through. Obviously, the kids need therapy. But keep in mind, even though they've had a tremendous upheaval, and so have you and your fiance. On the financial side, you should make sure you're receiving all the assistance you're entitled to receive. States sometimes have relative caregiver assistance. Here's a link to Florida's. For example, they may also be eligible for Social Security survivors' benefits. Beyond that, well, the obvious answer is that everyone needs therapy. And hopefully counseling helps solve some issues. The sadder answer is that sometimes you can't have everything. And you may end up needing to decide who and what gets prioritized. It feels like the most urgent priority here is figuring out whether your relationship with the fiance is salvageable. And if so, what you need to do to salvage it. Because that's a problem that is going to get worse and worse with time. While counseling would be the optimal scenario, it feels like you need to at the very least have some honest non-confrontational conversations with your fiance, in a setting where it's just the two of you, without any distractions, and where you can talk honestly, where you find out where his head is at and where you can go from here. There's a very big difference between this being the two of you dealing with it as a team versus you dealing with your family's shit and him just waiting around for everything to get back to how it used to be. You kind of need to know whether you're still a team. Or if not, how you can get back to being a team. Or if that's not possible, where you go from here. I cannot say anything except I'm so sorry your family is going through all of this. This is so much and you need help ASAP. For starters, grief is no joke. That alone can be really draining. Your family should consider grief counseling, including your fiance. The dog thing is not your fault, but I can see how your fiance might blame you only because he's grieving the cat. The other thing is your siblings. If they would go into foster care, the state would have to pay for someone to foster them. You should find out from your local social services agency if you can get financial support for them. This will help ease the burden, at least financially. They might also be a resource for therapy recommendations. Find out if they qualify for Medicare, which I would think they do. You and your fiance are both very young and this is a lot to deal with. Don't take it out on each other because you'll end up destroying the relationship. I think the best thing you can do is show your fiance this post and sit down and talk. And come up with a plan together. You have done the hard stuff, took in your brothers and got them into therapy. You moved. You canceled your wedding to pay bills, so now you have to acknowledge the sacrifices you have each made, the pressure you are each under, and your guilt. Yes, get therapy. But in the meantime, here is my advice. 1. Can you carve out a few hours a week to be together? Even if it is literally laying in bed or when your brothers are at therapy. You need time to talk and catch up, and even if it 2 hours on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. Dedicated time is important. 2. Talk about your network, who are the people you can rely on for small thing. Like picking your brothers up once in a while to take them home so you can squeeze out some alone time. Or to take them to a baseball game. 3. How can you two make family time with your brothers, as they are also going through a lot, and a nice meal twice a week? Any meal or a movie night will go a long way to settling everyone. 4. Tell your fiance how you feel about the dog-cat situation. You need to just let it out and process it and move on. With time, it is still impacting you, so you need to express how sad and guilty you feel. 5. Tell your fiance how you feel about upending all your plans in life. Tell him how amazing he is and how guilty you feel. Just put it out there. 6. Ask your fiance what he needs from you. 7. Come up with a plan together and check in about it. This isn't therapy, but having some time where you two sit still and hold hands. And some time where you say, "How is the plan going? What do you need from me?" is so important. You are an amazing person going through so much. Your fiance knows that, and that's why he loves you. And he is also an amazing person for going through this with you. Trust that he wants to be there for you. But the guilt you feel will create more and more tension and distance. Him hearing how you feel the guilt, and also how great he is, should not be undersold. People like to be acknowledged. This is a shit example. But think about when your food is late at a restaurant. If the waiter says, "Sorry, the kitchen is backed up," instead of ignoring you, you feel so much better. Like, "Oh, they know I am waiting and things happen." Don't ever underestimate the power of just acknowledging what is going on. Both of my brothers are in intensive therapy, which is 4 hours a week between the both of them. We have also been on a wait list for about 5 months for a caseworker to help us with different financial options. The only reason my fiance and I have not started therapy is because we work Monday to Friday, 12.5-hour days. And we don't really have the extra money for us to get therapy as well. I am so sorry you were put in such an awful situation. You guys need more help than this place is qualified to give. Grief therapy, family therapy, social intervention from the school guidance counselors. You need to build a team to help support your ship, because it sounds like it's sinking fast. Start looking for those people that have a roadmap and can help guide you and your family through this. Good luck. I would suggest doing everything you can to minimize what's destroying you. If the boys can spend one night a month on a sleepover with friends, do that. If you can get therapy for yourself by calling a 1-800 number until you can afford it, do that. If your boyfriend has resentment towards the dogs, rehome them. If the 16 years old can get a part-time job, do that. If you need date nights, take your fiance in some hikes, walks, dates. Therapy. The boys need to be in therapy. You need to be in therapy, and probably also couples therapy. Thank you all for your comments. Mostly help. Just wanted to add. 1. I did give my fiance a way out. When this happened, I told him that he doesn't need all this, and if he didn't want to stay I wouldn't hold it against him. I've told him many times since that's I would understand if he left. He always tells me we are in this together. He is an amazing man. We just are struggling more and more with seeing eye to eye on things and staying connected. We are continually drifting from each other. I see this destroying both of us, and it's not fair to him, and it's terrifying to watch too. My mom's pit was not unfamiliar to any of us. The pit was in an unfamiliar place. My mom got the pit. Her name is Rainbow. At 8 weeks old, and she was in our family for 8 years. Our cat went everywhere with us. So he had stayed at my mom's with the pit on numerous occasions, and we never had an issue. I brought them down. The other one was a Chihuahua, and she had no blood on her, so she wasn't involved. Because my brothers just lost our mom and didn't want to be the one to take their dogs too. I don't know why she did, but I do know it was out of character. And we did not keep the pit. We found someone my brothers knew, and they took her. Point 3. No, we don't have any family. My mom grew up in foster care. She was also with an extremely abusive person for the last 10 years who didn't allow her to have any support or friends. Another poster said, "Please delete this post and talk to a professional." And I think that's wise. You're going to get a lot of bad advice and people making you feel shitty, and you don't need to deal with that right now. Therapy for all. And best of luck. Oh dear heart, you are in a crisis right now. Your little boat was sailing along and got hit by some breakers, and you can't bail fast enough to stay upright. Get help any way you can till things stabilize. Prioritize counseling, family counseling. Maybe you and your fiance could join your brother's sessions occasionally, since you are all trying to pull the same direction. Is there an online support group? Pester the caseworkers. If your brothers had gone to foster care, there would have been support, and you are entitled to the same. Try to call a ceasefire with your fiance till you can find your balance. Just get through this awful time. I wish you and your family much better days ahead. You need a break for starters. The kids are old enough to stay home alone for an evening. Plan a date. Something simple. A nice meal and a walk through a park. Don't talk about finances or any of your troubles. Allow this to be a retreat from them. Talk about the something nice in your week. The beauty of the park. A favorite memory of his mom. Something good about each of your brothers. If you can, plan the whole Saturday or Sunday. Or even just a part of it. Do the 4 of you have fun together? It doesn't have to be expensive. A picnic in the park. Toss a frisbee. Can you tell nature is healing for me? Address the fights. Can we agree our fights should be you and me against the problem, and not a fight between you and me? We can get back to feeling like a team again. Part of that is to agree to stop yelling at each other. Does your employer have an employee assistance program? EAP. That's what they are called in the USA. Free counseling. Some have free legal help. And other programs. It wasn't your fault the dog did what he did. You have enough to carry without that. Remember, you're doing the right thing. That counts for something. The reasons why we sacrifice. Love. Doing the right thing. Breathe that in. Take a moment to breathe that in with him. With all of them. And schedule breaks. And fun. And time to cry hard alone too. Be kind to yourself and all of them, and that's half the battle. You left your cat with an unfamiliar dog. And a pit bull of all things? My cats are my children, and if my wife did this and the dog hurt them, I don't think I could ever forgive her. It would be game over for our relationship. Fuick. I can't imagine staying with someone who caused that to happen to my cat. This situation is way beyond Reddit's pay grade. Please delete this post and seek therapy. Individual therapy and family therapy. Good luck to you. Your mother didn't succumb to an accident. She was murdered. She the person who killed her for wrongful death. Wait. I'm trying to get past the point of that non-violent dog hurting your cat. You realize that just because an animal is sweet and nice That puts something that is prey, or new, to them in their territory. Shit isn't going to go well. Did you introduce them properly? Or just assume the dog would override its natural instincts for you? Or that your cat was smart and wouldn't provoke the dog because your cat was protecting their territory? We have 3 loving and sweet cats in our home and recently got a 4th last month who we are still keeping separate to give them all time to be introduced slowly and properly to avoid any unnecessary fights. I don't know, Op. The cat thing would have been it for me. No coming back from that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.